she says it seems that we all have our urgent business. Again, my hope was to attempt to combine some forces with you and the brave souls that helped us find this information. And she looks at Saldar, who is standing by the door there, and Saldar nods and opens the door, and not yells but calls out a little bit, and you hear some kind of commotion downstairs, and you hear footsteps up the stairs, and then you see a halfling wizard enter, and she says, "This is Calbrex. Calbrex was part of the party that found the information that we were looking for." And then behind Calbrex, it's not hard to see. There is this large, like 6.5 foot big half orc. Krav, you probably kind of perk up a little bit. Come kind of bounding through the doorway, and you'd be forgiven that that's all you see, because this big large thing there. But you notice another half elf come.
Goofy look on his face.
Yeah, you notice another half elf come through the door, almost as tall, and then a cat-like person. And last you notice, because it's so hard or so easy for this person to get lost in all this height, is a small boy, redheaded boy, and she Syndra says, "I wish you to meet the people that made a lot of this information aware. And for Artoris and Urf and Gendron and Laxu, you traveled quickly to Yartar, where you made use of the Harper teleportation circles to get yourself to Everlund, and then traveled to Silvery Moon to connect up with the benefactors of Calbrex and Remelia, who is Syndra. And that's how you come here."
Very cool.
Which is why I kind of cut everything off a half an hour ago or so. You have arrived here. You have been paid. So your hardcover gang has 600 gold pieces now, and fully healed through your travels and your rests and whatever.
And should be level 2.
And will be level 2, yes. Are level 2, yes. And,
cool.
And she brings you all into the room and says, "My initial plan was," you had only arrived a day or so ago, and she said, "My initial plan was to ask all of you, this is such a large issue, to go to Chult. Out of game, the plan was always the 4 hardcover PCs, but you guys can make your choices. But seeing now the state that everything is in, and there seems to be too many important and urgent issues to tackle. So I am ready to teleport whoever needs to go to Chult to go there as soon as possible. You can also use my contacts to get to wherever you need to go as quickly as possible. I will not fault you for having to go off on your own focuses, whether it's for your family," and she looks at Ventus and Lore, "or for other reasons. I will not ask you or demand you to take this on. But those of you in this room," and she looks at all 8 of you, "that are willing to travel with me to Chult, it will be dangerous. Chult is it is by far not it is a savage land. There's only one place of civilization known or left in Chult. I can provide you with a map, if you agree, of what we do know of Chult. The rest will be your ability to explore and survive in the wilds and to search out and find the source of the death curse, to find out about this soulmonger, and to hopefully rid this from Faerun. But time is running low and we need to leave soon. So I apologize for having to press you for your plans. And as we're in the 4S group kind of state of mind, we'll start there.
I'm just wondering at this point if Boreal should look at this little redheaded kid and think how much help that he needs and give him his cloak and his ring. He can't go out in the world on his own, so small. He needs every advantage.
You know,
it doesn't seem right.
We got this +1 weapon we found in the
Oh my gosh.
tomb. I could give it to Earth.
You asked for this.
I do have it in the session 1 notes. Where is it here? Magic items for the For Us gang. Is it overpowered if they meet the hardcover gang?
Excellent.
Talaxu
I'm just thinking about the children. These are the future generations. They need us.
Let someone think of the children.
Yeah, Lalaxu happily trades this pitted, half-corroded rapier for any magical items you can hand over to him. He's kind of eyeing, I think, the Giant Slayer sword that Laura currently has.
Yeah, fat chance of
There's no
getting
way
that.
Laura's going to give that to him. Are you kidding?
Laura's selfish as fuck, by the way. Let's just put that out there. Like, he's giving
Yeah,
them
that's
to
not
no
going to
one.
happen.
No.
Although,
But Ventus has this nice glass staff that no one can use.
I'm just but seriously though, I'm thinking like we do have those new items that we just got from that last battle, which none of us are attached to or whatever yet. Anyway, we might have a few items that can't be bound to the logical person in our group.
Going to sell them and make a small fortune.
I was thinking that too, but now I'm thinking if we're being told that this small group of underwhelming adventurers may be part of the key to keeping some of our party members alive. Not even from a metagaming perspective, I'm thinking legit. I might be thinking we should do what we can to help them.
I recognize this is a possibility, and therefore I got no issues with it.
I think what would happen is anything that we're currently attuned to would be like, no, heck no. But any of the extra stuff we have, we would be like, well, look, you guys are going to Chult. It's super dangerous. This is very important to me. I want to make sure that Boreal and my buddy Lore don't flip and die and decay into nothing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would probably be up for that.
I think Lore's he's way too skeptical. He's like, look, are we just going to give trusted magical hardened items to these bunch of nobodies that we just met?
And this kid?
And don't get me wrong, because I think we still feel like we're going to need it because we're still going to be doing our thing. But if we have some excess stuff, rather than get money, which might be useless to us in a month or whatever, or how long we have, it might be of value for us to try to increase our odds. That's all I'm saying. And I'll say that out loud. I'm thinking we need to consider that we might be able to help these guys out a little bit and not hurt ourselves in doing so.
Okay. As for the actual details of what you may or may not hand them or whatever, let's leave that, if you don't mind, for session 0, just for the interest of time. But the general strategy, the idea of we may help these guys out, I've got no issue with. So Syndra looks at the 4S gang, Ventus, Lore, Krev, Boreal. Obviously, her plans are dashed to the winds now. She had all kinds of strategy and idea and meta out of game. This was my way of bringing these two groups together. It was not to railroad you all into heading towards Chult. So she looks at those four again, Ventus, Lore, Boreal, and Krev, and says, time is of the essence, and I can understand if you have other pressing needs. So what do each of you do at this point?
Ventus is going to be standing up, and he's going to look around the room, and he's going to say, I have to go to Waterdeep and check on my grandniece and nephew. If they are no longer there, then I will.
What's the rate of decay that we're observing for lore?
With lore, you haven't really. I think it's more lore has felt, like just kind of getting a little bit sick or whatever. But talking with Syndra and things like that, for weaker or commoners, it's happening very quickly, weeks to a couple days, or sorry, a couple weeks. For adventurers like herself, either in their prime or retired, it's more like she's been dealing with this for a few weeks now. And she doesn't look close to death, but she's certainly going in that direction. So you kind of surmise from all that, like somebody like you guys could, yeah, it could be 6 weeks, could be a month, it could be 2 months, kind of thing. Probably three. Nobody has survived 3+ months with this thing, or very few, not that they know of. So you're in the order of at the outset months. And your players, your PCs would know that from the discussion with Syndra. Without, she doesn't know exacts either.
Okay.
So Ventus needs to go to Waterdeep, it sounds like. So he's getting ready to head to water. His focus is Waterdeep. Is that correct, Ventus?
Yeah, I got to go check on the kiddos, make sure that they're okay. If they're not there, then I'm going to arrange something with Barial where we can meet up, maybe through Animal Messenger or something. I don't know what he's got, but we'll meet back up with the group so I can help with Belor and Barial because I'm worried about them.
Okay.
Can you roll me a
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
disadvantage? Can you roll Barial a perception check with disadvantage? And then if he passes that, can just like a standard DC, I guess. And then if he passes that, can you roll me an intelligence check?
Okay, perception disadvantage is a 9.
Okay, that's fine.
Probably failed then.
Yeah, I think so. And then, and that's just for.
You're cutting in and out like a mofo.
Yeah, we lost you a little bit there.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Okay, we try one more time. That was just for which?
No, it's fine. I'll leave it alone for now.
Okay. Okay, so and Ventus, when you get to Waterdeep, you would have no, unless you have access to this spell yourself, you would have no problem finding a friend or somebody in Waterdeep that could cast message. I can't remember the exact spell, but essentially it's a text message to people that you can, say 20 or 25 words, and they can say 20 or 25 words back.
You can tweet them, and they can tweet back.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. I just want to make sure that I have some way to keep in touch with the guys while I'm gone, and I'm going to let them know what I find out. And this is crazy. It's exactly what Bahamut predicted. I can't believe that they took my grandniece and grandnephew. I must make sure and find out. I will return. And then I just started with my teleportation circle, and then the next thing you know, Ventus is gone.
Guys, I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, okay. No problem. Krev and Lore?
Well, Krev turns and looks at Lore. And I have an idea. I don't know if you're going to like it, but it will take some balls.
Well, as you know,
oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, even you got the first word out, and I'm like, oh Lord. I know where Seth is going.
You have to remember, Krev is trying to, because there are two ways to look at this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure he doesn't look at it a way that he'll reject the idea.
Yep, gotcha.
So I'm choosing my words carefully. What would you say? There's more than one way to attack this, and I want, as you know, I'm bound to Oberon in a way that I cannot ignore. He has called me home. He didn't say that I couldn't bring you with me. I want to find out if he can help, or at least maybe I want him to shield you. And
Ooh, or slow it.
I think we can do that if, and this is the crazy part, we go to the Feywild, to the Summer Court. I have an invitation, but I should be able to bring you. Stay with me.
I think Laura at this point, like he's very unsure. Like, as most of you know, like he's a man of action. So for Crow to suggest, hey, let's just kind of go see my patron and.
Well, it is quite dangerous. That's why he's trying to
no, I know.
butter it up.
I think he will kind of nod his head a little bit. And I think he will say to you, but like, I think we can do that. I think maybe a trip to the Feywilds could be a pleasant detour before. I mean, let's be fair, we still don't know entirely what's going on here. All we know is that Chult is the place that we might find answers. There's no guarantees here. So I think I'll come with you. But before we go, there's one place I want to go first, and
I think I know. I understand. I need to find out where we can breach the barrier anyway, so you go talk to him. And I will be... What was the actually, this is a question to Brett.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the last, of basically the library that Ventus and I went to one time to go looking up stuff on the Fae?
Oh, I can't remember. Sorry.
Okay.
Vellum Citadel.
All right.
No, I don't know.
Whatever it is, basically, Krev essentially tells Lore, I will be at that location. You can find me there. And when you're ready, join me. And then we'll have a hell of an adventure.
I just nod my head and give him a smile.
Okay.
And actually, I look over also at the other half-orc there.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to him in Orcish, well, brother, do you feel ready to take on what's facing you?
Now's the point.
I have to actually talk to myself.
And what do you...
I'm actually very excited about this.
Yeah.
To which...
It's now the Deathic show.
Oh, God.
No.
Brile can speak Orc. He can pitch in.
Oh, that's good.
I really
hey,
wanted to
welcome
talk
back.
to the cat, but Ventus had nothing to say to him. He needed to get out of there, so I couldn't.
Yeah, it's just Urf would reply back, actually a little confused, just like, I don't really know, I don't really understand. I just have to keep Dogar. And he gestures over to the young boy, the redhead.
Mm-hmm.
I have to keep him safe. So we're going. We'll fix this. It's obvious that from the look on his face that he doesn't really understand what's going on. His sole concern is that he's going because Jedrin's going, and he's going to keep Jedrin safe.
Bryle's looking disapprovingly at Earth and just kind of shaking his head more to himself, not in a big display or anything, but he's just like thinking to himself, what the hell is he bringing this kid into this death trap for?
Yeah, well, that's more a case of I'm assuming that Jedrin has agreed to go is the thing.
Yeah, but Bryle's just going to see this as irresponsible.
Exactly. Bryle's got the relationship backwards, is the thing.
Exactly. He doesn't know better, but he's just looking, thinking, what the hell?
And basically, Krev looks at... Let me just check something here. Warlock spells. That's right, I ditched Charm Person. Can't really get inside my own head. Okay. So Krev's a little taken, not so much taken back as it's like he's realizing that although Krev himself is not the smartest man in the world, something is just missing in this guy. It's like, what's your name, brother? Earth. And Krev kind of cracks a smile. Earth? Yeah. It the sound people make when I hit them. Earth. And they both actually chuckle a little bit. Krev basically says, okay. Basically looks him over. It's like, can I want to remember you. Can I have something of yours? Just a trinket, a piece. And Earth looks down to Dogar and is like, or sorry, to Jedrin. It's like, Dogar, can I?
Sorry, you cut out there. What was he referring to?
Krev is asking Earth for a trinket of his, like just something of his that he can keep. He's using the premise that I want to remember you. What he's actually doing, and no one I think is aware of this but Krev, is he's trying to. He's not very familiar with him, but he wants to be able to scry on this group if he needs to, and he feels just. I mean, half-orcs part of Krev's mind is half-orcs need to stick together, especially when they're not like vicious, and you can see that this caring that Earth has, and the fact that he is not completely together up top. And he's putting together the relationship relatively quickly, especially when Earth literally asks for permission from the person he's calling little brother. And so, Witchy, what does...
Roll me an intelligence check real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, this is for... this is for...
For Gendron.
Yeah. Where the crap is... There's your page. Intelligence check?
Please.
Ooh, really
4.
low. 4 and a 6.
So he's thinking he probably doesn't know too much about, maybe this is some custom thing or something with orcs, or then again, they're not real orcs, so then maybe they have some sort of weird bond or camaraderie, and who am I to stand in the way of that? And so he kind of like looks up at Earth and is like, yeah, just don't give me anything worth gold. Kind of eyeing Krev a little bit suspiciously.
Says, it doesn't have to be that. Here. And
Damn right it doesn't.
He pulls out his dagger and says, "Brother, come here." And he
oh, you want to give him something? Oh, by all means.
He pulls out. Sorry, as Krev and Urf approach each other, basically, Krev pulls out the dagger. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. And he grabs, gently takes a piece of Urf's hair and slices it off. And basically quickly ties it at both ends so that it doesn't basically fall into a mess. And he's basically got a lock of Urf's hair now.
Gendron looks to the rest of the party and says, "Because that isn't creepy at all."
You're going
to which Krev basically looks over at Gendron and is like, keep this boy safe. And
he's saying that to Gendron?
Yes.
Gendron kind of gives him this knowing look
at as he points at
Earth.
Yeah,
Gendron just kind of gives you this like acknowledging look, but doesn't say anything. Looks a little smarter than he lets on.
Yeah, and Krebs basically picking up on this relatively quickly, because he's smart. He's probably not as smart as you. Krev isn't as smart as Gendron, I would imagine, but he understands interrelationships. I'm assigning that to charisma, so he's worked out the interplay very rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
And I now also have a piece of Earth that should help make the DC very much simpler for doing any scrying on him in the future.
Yeah, I thought you were going for like a possession or a garment, a -4,
Nope.
but you went for the big money.
Oh yeah. And basically he says back, he puts his hand on Earth's shoulder and it's like, stay safe, brother. Keep your little brother safe as well. And if you solve this, you'll have my undying gratitude. And maybe a little money. If we decide to share things in terms of magical items, insert me giving Earth something here.
Sure.
If we decide not to, it didn't happen. But this would make sense thematically and narratively as to where it's at. We'll deal with that next time.
Yeah, I don't mind retconning what you gave them.
And so that basically, at this point, Krev steps back and goes to Lore. And basically, at this point, it's okay. Lore, go see your father. Go see him. And I don't actually say it's your father. I'm just making the assumption. I think it's a safe assumption. And I'll be at the library.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, Krev goes to leave to go and find out if he can find a place where he can, without the actual plane shift spell, manage to do the same thing in terms of getting Oberon's attention enough that Oberon will do the shift for him.
Okay.
That's basically the path that I'm trying to go down.
Yeah, and all those things, like all these Storm King Thunder PCs, that's when we come back to this, and I really want to come back to this branch of the tree. This is kind of where we'll pick that all up. And we'll get to Brile in a second, very quickly, but quickly for Krev, the Oberon dream that you had, you didn't necessarily have a urgency like come back now, and then that's not to railroad you one way or the other. It's just the dream was essentially when you have accomplished what I set out for you. You're welcome back.
And that invitation is what Krev has latched onto. He's not considering it a order because it would have been phrased differently.
Yeah.
But he's hoping to catch his rather mercurial master in a good mood.
Yep.
And get a favor out of him, even if it costs it, and he's willing to pay a lot personally to get this favor. So
sure.
We'll play that off in the future, but I'm assuming that we'll pick up with Lore and Krev in a glade somewhere, fairy ring or what have you, and basically yelling into the air, or having done an incantation or something to basically say, "Damn it, I'm here! Speak to me, you bugger!"
Okay, Bryle, I think you're the only person out of the 4S group that we don't know exactly what your plans are.
He's not going to go far from Lore.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever Lore is doing, he's doing it too.
Okay. So
I mean, if there's a definitive connection between them that nobody really understands, and it's he needs to, control his own destiny a little bit. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, then Syndra. Keep thinking I'm not getting that name. Yeah, Syndra, I guess. So here's a really funny moment I had. I didn't want to wreck the role play. I was preparing for what was going to happen next, and in my brain I'm like, oh, we can't do that right now because Vorpal isn't here. And the reason I didn't think Vorpal was here is because Ventus went away. So that's how much you've pulled me. I remember a teacher once talking to me about him reading a story on a summer's day, but the story was it was snowing, and he looked out the window expecting to see it snow. That's how much I was kind of drawn in at that moment. It's like, oh, we got to wait for Vorpal to get back because he just teleported to Waterdeep.
To be fair,
yeah,
there's an actual study about how people experience things when they're doing roleplay like this.
They talked about this in that one video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't, when that moment we had between Seth and myself, to my mind, it wasn't Seth and me. It was literally Krev and Lore, and I was sad at that moment when he said, "I don't want to die."
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to reach out and just hug someone at that moment. So, yeah.
Which is why we need to get together at Witchy's place and play a game.
Yes, we'll pay for flights for Vorpal and for Seth, and
whatever, they can Skype in or whatever, FaceTime.
No, we're getting the whole gang together. We're pounding down your front door. Okay, so
it's a nice front door.
Yes, so we'll knock gently. Syndra turns to Urf, Artorias, Gendron, and Lilaxu, and says, I thank you for bringing this information and bringing Calbrix here safely. I thank you for what we've asked you to do and face the dangers of can't remember, Zeldara. What I'm asking you now is even more dangerous. And if you do not accept it, then more time will be lost as I try to find more willing adventurers. I can teleport people to Chult now. I was hoping to have more experienced people along with you. Unfortunately, the gods in the world and everyone else has conspired against that. I can tell you that I do know Port Nyahenzu very well. This is the one main area in Chult. There are experienced guides and guides who know how to wield blades and cast magic and to fight, that are more experienced than you are, and they may be able to help you for a price. I cannot say this is going to be easy, and you are already starting to see what's happening to people who die in this world. But if you wish, and if you feel that this may be your calling away from your lives in the past to something hopefully truer and more nobler, there is a great evil afoot, and somebody needs to deal with it. I'm hoping we've found those people.
Come on, having a statue in Chult as well. Can't hurt, right, Lord?
So he's speaking mainly to the
new characters.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Lore's still there as far as I know.
I think Lore left to
I think Lore's a little torn between statues at this point.
I mean, look, my dream is to have a statue in every city, but I mean, I realize that's not feasible, but
I disagree.
So she's looking at Artorias, Urf, Gendron, and the Laxu, which may be the only people left in the room other than Calbrex and Saldar.
Right, so switching gears back to Urf. Okay.
Yeah, I know I'm doing a lot of mental gymnastics for you guys today.
No, all good. It gave me time to get all my stuff in for my fun rogue stuff. It's so awesome.
I saw that.
So basically, Witchy, I figured it out. You add it, right? But you got to copy paste from the compendium. So it's not going to add it automatically, but it's still pretty quick to do.
Yep.
That's too bad because the whole idea is supposed to be drag and drop.
That.
Yeah, I did copy and paste into my feats or whatever, but it won't, when I do any rolls, I'll just have to remember I have to be adding a +1 or +2 or whatever whenever I get there.
Well, that's what I have to do with my damage for rage. It doesn't automatically add in the raging damage. There's no button I can click to say do an extra 2 damage right now.
You could duplicate your other melee weapon and then just give it the rage stats and then equip it as unweighted or 0 weight, and then you don't have to worry about it. That's what I do. Because look, I have a damaged rapier and a borrowed rapier.
All right. This is not a bad idea. So let me add in another great axe.
I just know anytime I'm rolling unskilled, I get a +1 right now.
So just to reroute us back, just because of especially Witchy's time. So that's been the offer to you guys, is to Syndra will teleport you to Port Nyaranzu. I will screw that name up a million times. To start looking into this death curse, if you're willing.
Absolutely. I'm going if my brother's going.
Artorias?
I mean, yeah, I'm going for sure.
This is where you start to really feel your calling to rid the world of undead and unnatural things. Was that did I mistake in that, or was that part of your
I think that's always kind of a part of him, just as a cleric, innately. Is that undeath and anything undead related that would threaten the sanctity of life needs to be burned. I would like to say I'd like to think that he made the change to light cleric probably way before maybe even the campaign started, just because realistically in the lore-wise, when a cleric switches from one
it's
deity,
significant.
Yeah, it's a huge ordeal. A long period of time where you have no spells and you have to show dedication, and it's basically a character arc in itself to go through do that. So in process of saving time, I would just say that maybe he was never a Tempest cleric. Let's just go with that. He was a light cleric, and save him with some time.
Yeah, no, I'm good. And Urf, I imagine, is looking at Gendron for guidance here on what to do, and more so
And Gendron's feeling kind of like a Ferengi right now all of a sudden, but he's thinking, this sounds really lucrative, so I can't see why we wouldn't do this.
And more for Vorpal than anything else, just because Vorpal missed the first session with these characters. You guys have only spent a little bit of time together with each other, so you're still slightly. By now, you've spent probably about 6-ish days together. So there's.
Yeah, I'm sure Arturius and Leilaxu have worked out if they want Earth to do something, they have to basically ask Gendron to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like Leilax picked up on that super quick, and also he likes Gendron. I mean, the fact that this little kid, like, just kind of stepped up to him, like that, and was trying to take his mark. He likes that. He thinks it's pretty ballsy, and so he's kind of giving the kid like tough love, a little brother type of admiration, I guess. So I guess it depends on how Gendron's going to accept that. If he's going to be aloof or if he's going to like it, or I don't know. Let me know.
By the way, Earth has taken a shine to Leilaxu, not necessarily because of personality, but just because this is a walking cat. And he has, from time to time, tried to pet you. Whether or not he succeeded is totally up to you. He's not putting up a fight for any of it. He wants to spend time with the kitty.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's going to depend on the situation. If you just come up behind me out of nowhere and try to pet me, I'm going to do like my kitty Naruto like super ninja move out of the way. But if we're like just chilling having drinks and you reach out and grab my shoulder and then that turns into a petting, I'll probably let you know that I would rather you not do that. Please stop.
Okay.
And he says that through the purrs, or
probably been more of the second. Like, Earth's not creepy, but he thinks you're soft.
No, I mean, I'm totally down for a nice shoulder pad every now and then. But when it turns into like you're trying to pet me for an extended period of time, if it goes over 30 seconds, I think Leilaxu would do the aloof kitty and kind of slide away.
Okay.
That's when HR gets involved with harassment forms and such.
Hey, Earth hasn't done anything like that.
The more Leilaxu is having fun, the less he cares about that stuff too. Like, he might actually like sit there and let his brother do that if he's drunk.
So Syndra looks partly relieved for probably the first time since all this communication had started. And she turns to Calbrex. And you've got this knowing look in Calbrex's eyes that this may be the last time that he sees Syndra. And Syndra says, pass my thanks to Remelia and Darthra. And you can see Calbrex kind of, holding back as much emotion as possible. And Syndra, with all the strength that she can muster, says, I will return. And then she turns and guides you down the stairs into another room where there is a teleportation circle. There, sigils, the whole deal. And she turns to the four of you and says, if you're ready. And she's just basically kind of making sure that you're all set to go. And if you are, she will start.
Did we need to do like any supply stuff before? I mean, are we okay?
She will let you know that there are supplies available in Port Nyranzu where she's taking you.
All right, I say let's go then.
And
so Earth follows Jedron onto the teleportation pad.
And she starts the incantation. And just before she starts, she says, if you've never been teleported before, this can be a little disconcerting. And she starts the incantation, and the room kind of goes fuzzy and weird, and there is this bright white light. You kind of feel that this is part of teleportation, that you're kind of going through light to get somewhere, but you realize that no, like within an instant you are there, and the bright light is this bright sun just beaming down on you, and And as your eyes adjust and such, you start to look around, and you are in this port. And specifically,
I recognize this map.
yeah, specifically, you are kind of in this general area here, and your eyes are kind of focusing and gathering everything in. You recognize this bright light is actually the sun beaming down on you as you've moved from inside to outside, and as your senses start to kind of take toll, or come together with everything. Sights, sounds, smells, bright colors all over the place. The buildings are brightly painted. There's vines and flowers and plant like things all over the place. You look around and you notice people and creatures of all kinds. You see some tabaxi walking along. You see creatures and like horse-drawn carts, but they're not being drawn by horses. They're being drawn by bipedal dinosaur, not like the size of a horse, not incredibly large. Even if, as you look towards this area here to the southwest, well, it's not southwest, but based on the map, you actually see larger dinosaurs attached to ships, dragging the ships through the canal and the channel that way. And you hear languages that you don't understand. It's a lot of clicks and throatal languages as you see brown-skinned people talking amongst themselves. This is just all kind of coming all at once. You hear this voice, not terribly far away, but some distance away, and you recognize it's on a ship over here that they're starting to unload the ship and such, and you hear somebody say that might be a better way to travel. And it wasn't necessarily meant for you, but it was overheard in some spoken kind of loudly over the din in some sort of accent way. And you look over and you see this lizard man kind of half giving a comment to these people getting off the boat as he kind of gets off the boat and heads in one direction, and the people he's kind of referencing to. There's three of them there, and the one that you really notice is this big bugbear kind of standing there, and they kind of look at you, and you kind of look at them, and
Traxxas thinks that would have been better.
and Syndra looks at you while all this is going on, and your mouths are kind of agape and such, and
Earth's jaw is just
yeah, and she just looks at you and has a little bit more of a spry in her step, it seems, and she just says, "Welcome."
Why is it so hot?
Well, that's the other thing that as you start to notice that it is dreadfully hot, and she just looks at you and says, "Welcome to Port Nyaranzu, and indeed, welcome to Chult." And that is where I would like to stop the play part of this session, the RP part of this session.
Okay.
To get into session 0 if we can. If that's all right with you guys.
Yeah, let's do it.